Yeah, good morning everybody. On our journey, Cloud ERP Process Map, our daily live stream. So, I hope you're well and greetings. And we had already 2 weeks, or nearly 2 weeks. This is the last day of the second week of daily live streams. On our journey, how can we discover Cloud ERP? How can we discover insights into processes of Cloud ERP? So, yesterday, you remember, we talked about, I brought my sunglasses yesterday, we talked about blocked vision, so what are reasons we cannot see something, yeah? Maybe with our eyes we cannot see it, or maybe with our mind we cannot see it. We trained a new capability, or actually every human has this capability of imagination. Yeah, so we did some exercise in imagination or the reimagination of a process, and today we will continue in that. I brought something today as well. So today I brought 2 other items. This is the one first, a binocular. I hope I can spell that right. Binocular. Yeah. I can look at something in the distance. Yeah. And then I can make it clear and sharp and see it more bigger and more clearer. Yeah. So that's that's what I brought. Actually, we used very useful tool when we were in the Serengeti last year, October last year, on one of our road trips. I will tell you about that. And we observed the wild animals. Yeah, so we saw lions and leopards and rhino and hippo and crocodile and giraffe, of course, zebras, elephants, and so very impressive and sometimes very rare animals. Yeah. So that was a very good use of that binocular. So that is one thing I brought today to sharpen and clear our vision. Yeah, so that is that one. And then the other one I brought, which is also possible to improve our vision. That is this one, a microscope. Yeah. So when I was a boy, I used to love to play with it and investigate in detail, some plants and some, microorganisms, and to see things that you wouldn't see with your normal eye. Yeah? So that is also a very useful instrument, obviously in research and medicine and so on and so on. But as for me, I just did this as a hobby, looking at small things also, detailed things. Interesting. So if we consider the both 2 instruments to sharpen our vision in different directions, I would say, in different levels of detail, and well, that is something I brought today. Yeah. So what are we talking today? Reimagination of our process. Yeah. Something we did yesterday. Before we come to that, if you like our live streams, then you can also share them. Yeah. So there are 2 links: livestream.adapro.eu, that you can share, and then you see all of our live streams in the past. You can even watch the replays on LinkedIn. And always you see the next live streams which are planned for the next day or some future days. And also on YouTube at Adapro, youtube.com/adapro/streams. There, each working day at 8 o'clock we have this live stream. So you can share that if you like it and if you think there's somebody who could also be interested in that. Yeah, so join us at Menti. You know that we use that for polling and question and answers, and so that we have an interactive experience. So what did we do yesterday? Yesterday we did an exercise in, let me switch on here. We did an exercise in imagining innovative processes. So we collected some ideas and we try to think out of the box and to think which processes could be newly imaginated. Yeah. So there were some feedbacks like AI sorting my emails or QR code or compare images or predict quantity, and or upload supplier invoice. So there are some even business processes mentioned. Yeah, create income statement, create offer for customer. Then more practical things like approve, reject by swipe with the mobile phone. Yeah, and agile, effective face recognition. So we did some practice, of reimagination our processes, and we said reimagination is the way in which we can reconcile these two approaches of substantiating value for an enterprise, for a company, which is on the left side, the value management approach, and on the right side, the business process management approach. So, and here we go again, because you can imagine why I brought my Binuclear. So that is for the value management approach, obviously, because it gives you an overview, you can look into the future, into the goals of the company, into where you want to go, and have a clear vision about that. So that resembles to the value management approach. While the microscope, you can also imagine to what it resembles to the business process management approach, because it is able with business process management to look at very important details. Yeah? So sometimes, as we say in German, der Teufel steckt im Detail, the devil is in the details. Yeah? So sometimes you can have very high goals, but you cannot reach them because you overlook something very important in the detail. Yeah? So like you need to have a look into that and fix that, for example, so that microscope resembles to the business process management approach, maybe. And we said, how can we reconcile the two? Yeah, how can we bring them together? And we said, okay, so that is done by reimagining our process, because then we can move on into, a better future by means of sustainable and effective processes. Yeah. So on a new level of processes. Yeah, and we said, okay, let's today also do some reimagination of processes, some examples, and what can we achieve with a better cloud ERP technology? And I brought one other. Actually, I must say we have so many of these. So they are for every line of business, for every end-to-end process, this is something. It would take too long, in such a live stream. But let us consider this one, for example. Reimagine invoice to cash. So that is a typical common scenario. It was also mentioned in our word map. So we have the traditional scenario. Traditional scenario is goods dispatch, billing and invoicing, and receivables processing. So pretty standard. But what if we open our mind and reimagination? To to reimagination. The new world with SAP solutions. Yeah? So this could be completely new or new ways of doing things, like create one single invoice combining billable items from different channels and billing categories. For example, one-time billing, recurring billing, and usage-based billing, yeah, into one invoice. Tell me how you could do it today. It could be difficult, yeah. So, but this is supported with new SAP solutions. Supplier shares preliminary billing document with the customer. Yeah, so there's a preliminary like approval process. Supplier and customer agree on invoice items based on preliminary billing documents. Yeah. So then supplier final omni-channel convergent invoice. And supplier receives external electronic payment. So there's a certain degree of automation in that. Yeah. And actually before the real invoice is posted, it is approved from both parties. Yeah. So that is a new process actually. This is different than that process here, because in the traditional scenario you just create the invoice and then send it, and then it is posted with the customer, and then maybe the customer checks it, and then you have this maybe process in which you complain about the invoice and so on, and then everything needs to be maybe cancelled and done again. So that is can be quite cumbersome. Yeah. This traditional scenario, while in the lower scenario, yeah, it is only a preliminary invoice which is agreed upon, and then only after that everything is posted and posted into accounts receivable and accounts payable, and then even the payment is done electronically, yeah, which makes sense in this case because this preliminary billing document has already been approved. Yeah. And then automatic receivables matching improves settlement. So then after this main thing, this common agreement approval, the other steps could be more automated. While in the traditional scenario you have more cumbersome manual work to do because you have more deviations maybe from the original invoices. So that is how a good example how a better technology and a better process can improve these efficiencies and thereby make up for a more effective process. Yeah? So reduce day sales outstanding 2% to 5%, improve customer satisfaction 10% to 30%, and reduced invoice error rate 5% to 15%. Top value drivers. Yeah, this is what I said. Yeah, reduced error rate, reduced days sales outstanding. Even the payment is done faster. Yeah, and customer satisfaction is increasing because in this way they are not getting any invoices they are not agreeing with, for example. Yeah, so that is one example out of very many by which we can reimagine our processes. And we can do that for many of these processes in different lines of business and in different end-to-end processes. Yeah, so now let's have a small explanation about this whole approach, this whole method. There's a method behind it, and I want to take the possibility to have this watch together. So let us do that. I just put up my earphones. So let's go there. So let me now start this video. That we can watch together.
Today's economy demands forward thinking. Organizations need to reimagine their business to ever-changing needs.
So this video is from SAP actually. Yeah, it is explaining how this next generation benchmarking, this value management approach works, and I really like it. So let's watch it together. I've set this up technically, and I am quite confident that you can hear it. And it is about this how companies deal with ever-changing business requirements. Yeah, so that is quite interesting.
To do this, organizations need to understand how they can achieve desired business outcomes with new business models and process innovations.
Yeah, there we have it. Yeah, so we are living in an environment in which business conditions change, and we want not to receive them passively, but we want to actively define the outcomes we want to expect. And even with new business models, for example, like some company that creates machinery, it sells machinery, some supplier of machinery, say from Germany, I don't know. In the past, they may be only selling these machines, yeah, but in the future they may want to rent them out, for example. Yeah? This is a new business model. And how can the desired outcomes be achieved? And we will have another example later in the video.
At SAP, we realize this and built next-generation benchmarking and process maturity assessment to guide C-level executives along their journey of digital transformation.
Yeah, that was what we are talking about in the last days in our live streams. This benchmarking, yeah, and value management approach. This is a systematic approach that is offered by a tool from SAP, and that we have been trained to also offer to our customers. Yeah. So, and it is about how to improve processes without going too much into detail of the processes. Yeah, it's not this one. It's not like digging into every detail in the process, but it's more like this one here. Let's have an overview about the key performance indicators. Yeah. So in a sense, you can say it is a fast approach. Yeah.
More than 50 assessment surveys are available across all areas, like supply.
Yeah, so it is done by an assessment survey, which means this is a questionnaire. So it can be quickly done, because what you only need are some key figures. You can probably take them from your balance sheet or profit and loss statement, and even maybe ask some department managers about some key figures. And then you choose the line of business, the area that you have, if it is supply chain or finance or what it is. And we have seen in our previous word cloud, in our collection of which processes to improve, they come from different lines of business. You can even choose many lines of business, it's no problem. Yeah.
Supply chain, finance, manufacturing, and HR. Users can benchmark themselves against industry peers on KPIs.
Yeah, so this is very interesting, because this tool offers a benchmarking. There is anonymized data from the same industry, from the same region, yeah, and in that key performance indicators database. Yeah, so if you enter your basic performance indicators, you can see how you compare to the others. Yeah.
KPIs and process maturity through best practice assessments.
Yeah, here we have it again. Yeah, so we were talking all in the last days about process maturity and landscape maturity. You don't even need to do a big, I must say, yeah, I'm a big fan of business process management. Yeah, I'm a big fan of business process management, but you don't have to start a very big business process management project with all the details in the first step. In the first step, you might want to just do a assessment, a questionnaire that is much faster, yeah, and then still have process benchmarks compared to others in some best practices, yeah, on a high level.
To demonstrate the power of this new approach, let's watch Rachel, Chief Supply Chain Officer of a $10 billion consumer products company, on.
Yeah, so this is what I like. Then now we have a little bit of an example in supply chain, yeah, consumer products. Okay, 10 billion. Maybe the fascinating thing is these tools are now also available for, yeah, even mid-sized companies. Yeah, mid-sized companies can even profit from this kind of tools. Yeah, and maybe even reuse some of these best practices from larger companies, because they have also invested into optimizing their processes. Yeah, and why not? If you are a mid-sized company, why not reuse of this effectiveness? Yeah, so we made an example before already.
Her road to digital transformation. She is looking to establish a direct-to-consumer business model and is often faced with a mix of questions like, is our supply chain planning process agile and mature enough to support the new business model? We invested a lot in warehouse process transformation recently. How have these processes evolved since then? Or how can we become a best-in-class company within our industry?
Yeah, you see, so sometimes business changes are the reason why you think about these. Yeah, the new business model wants to set up, and yeah, so here we go.
With these questions in mind, the best place for Rachel and her team to start would be to take the next generation benchmarking assessment for supply chain. The survey includes targeted KPIs and benchmarks aligned to their current and specific future business model needs, like on-time delivery performance, revenue loss due to stockouts, and also metrics to evaluate their warehouse management processes.
Yeah, you see here, this is like a form. Yeah, we can enter these KPIs, which you can determine from your profit and loss statement or your balance sheet, or even some other statistic you have.
Next,
and even if you don't have every of these KPIs, that is no problem, because then we just leave this empty and then anyway go ahead with those we have. So that is also no problem.
Are asked to objectively assess their maturity gaps across different supply chain planning best practices with
Yeah, so this is what we were talking about also in the last days. We have the desired maturity and the current maturity. So that is actually determining the gap between the desired maturity and the current maturity in each of these best practices is determining the maturity gap. Yeah, so that is what we talked about in the last days already.
Guided maturity models. After the team completes the assessment, Rachel receives a detailed scorecard comparing their performance against a recommended peer group for each metric and best practice. Here,
yeah, see, even without now analyzing every processes you have, you're already getting this benchmark, this scorecard in which you can see, yeah, compared to your peers actually. Yeah. That's a very cool tool. I like it.
The assessment reveals a few key insights, such as their on-time delivery performance, revenue loss due to stockouts. Metrics are below average when compared to their industry peers. Potential scope for optimizing warehouse management cost.
Yeah, so here the set of metrics is selected depending on the line of business. So we have seen now two metrics out of the area of supply chain, which are related to stock and and also cost of goods sold and so on. So there are these metrics depending on the line of business, and you can see in this how good you are and what are your areas of improvement.
The maturity gap of current and desired next-generation warehouse processes, and how their overall readiness is compared not just against CPG.
So here you can see how it is determined if you are on level 3 or 4, because you have a description of each of these levels, and you can choose, that is what I have and that is what I want to be, and you can compare not only to consumer products industry but also on the broader level, which is retail in this example.
Industry, but also the retail industry. These results present an opportunity for Rachel's organization and SAP to identify the immediate improvement areas and move up the maturity curve towards becoming the industry leader and provide.
So that is moving up the maturity curve is always a very good starting point for an initiative, for a project, for a program to improve. So it is always good to have these numbers and these key figures which show where are the areas improvement if you want to start a project, if you want to improve, and this is why also this is very useful.
Provides visibility for a discussion about SAP solutions that could help address any gaps. From here, and
also it is always very worthwhile not to say just I don't know, let us go S4HANA because it's the newest release of SAP, but to do it the other way around, to see, okay, what are our value gaps, where do we want to improve in our maturity, and what are our strategic goals, and then to link this together to the features that SAP S4HANA delivers, and then it is possible to make a plan. And this is also very valuable input for every S4HANA project or even implementation, because then it is clear what the company wants, where they want to move, and what should be the outcome and the result. And it is very much better to focus on that goals.
SAP representative is able to help with recommendations to close the gaps and
so that is, they're saying SAP representative will help with this because it's an SAP video. Actually, SAP actually trains us like partners. So we have been trained in this methodology. We can help you and we can do that assessment with you. And we can derive these recommendations for how SAP S4HANA can help you in this to achieve these goals. So this is what our service offering is.
Increase margins. By comparing results from assessments taken pre and post transformation initiatives, Rachel can track progress over time and understand the actual benefits delivered.
So consider this. Have you ever seen a cloud ERP project or even an ERP project where before you set some performance goals or some performance indicators, goals, metrics, and then after that you measure? So that is fantastic, because now with this tool, this is made available for the broader public, and we can use this method that SAP used for many years and have gathered so many data about it. So SAP is very diligently in building up this database of improvements that has been done using their software in the different industries, in the different KPIs, put them into a database and make them now available for you actually. So this is fantastic in my opinion.
The vision and mission of SAP's next generation benchmarking is to help you measure, monitor, and optimize value throughout your transformation journey and truly envision an intelligent enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have it again, to envision your intelligent enterprise, that it gives a kickstart for this process of, or this journey of process reimagination. It is more than just optimizing a process. It is process reimagination based on the strategic goals and actual improvement areas of the company. So that is why it is so fascinating, I must say. Yeah, so that was interesting. Let us go to our presentation again. So since time is very advanced, I wouldn't dive into another detail. I would love to. You see, we have so many examples here, but you can still join one of our programs. So one of the programs is SAP Business by Design versus S/4HANA Cloud. Compare the facts. That is a program you can join. Another program is building your roadmap. Yeah. And there we have enough time to consider all of these reimaginations of fantastic processes that can be achieved with the new world of SAP solutions. And it is, as I said, a methodology which has several steps. Envision and align on desired outcomes, build the case, plan the path forward, implement and enable, realize and measure success, and optimize and innovate. So this is what we have been trained in and what we can deliver. So now we have had a deeper look into this value management approach on the left side. So that resembles this binocular. And as I said, it's faster going forward than business process management, but obviously not so detailed then, because in business process management you are looking at all the details that are necessary to bring you forward. So let's do some poll. Join us at Menti if you have not done yet. So we can do some, what is the highest impact of reimagination? So you have now some time, like say a minute. You can join us at menti.com, use code 89143448 to join us in Menti and to give your opinion about what process might have the highest impact if you reimaginate it. Is it supplier invoices? Is it create income statement? Is it create offer for customer? Is it create customer request? Or is it posting overhead cost? So maybe I'll start a timer. So there we go. So 20 more minutes, 15 seconds to go. Okay, so here's the result of today. Supplier invoices, obviously, because there are so many supplier invoices, much too many. Somehow I expected this. Second, create customer request. This customer support is very important. Create offer for customer. It has many to do with customer and a supplier, so the interaction with your business partners actually. And then the internal processes like post overhead cost and create income statement are also important, but maybe the highest impact of reimagination your process is with your interaction of your business partners, which are suppliers or customers. So interesting. Okay, let's finalize. If there are some questions, let me see. You have the possibility to ask a question, and I will check if you have some questions here. So let me give you some. So let's see. No questions today. Remember, you always have the possibility to ask questions on each slide if you have. Okay, so we are done for today. Next Monday, most probably we will talk about digital discovery assessment for S/4HANA Cloud. Okay, I need to switch myself off here so that you can read it. Digital discovery assessment for the S/4HANA Cloud. I will reflect about it on the weekend if it is the right topic for now. But most probably this will be the topic on Monday. And I want also to tell you also about Tuesday, because we will have a special guest, which is T. So I'm very proud and happy to have him here. Many of you might know him from Tea with T, which is also a YouTube influencer series now in LinkedIn. And we will be debating about process and landscape maturity and BPI, business process intelligence, which is because T also works for SAP Signavio, and he will give us also insights, and we will certainly have a interesting debate, like to make it a little bit fun or interesting. We will consider different opinions and then debate with each other. I'm happy to follow it and looking forward to that. So this is next Tuesday. And then let's finalize for today. Goodbye everybody, and thank you for joining.